In an age when the world was still young and the winds carried songs of ancient forests across wide valleys, there lay a kingdom known as Luminara, a land blessed with endless golden fields, crystal rivers, and mountains whose peaks touched the clouds like silent guardians watching over the earth. The people of Luminara believed their kingdom was kissed by the sun itself, for warmth and prosperity had lived there for generations beyond memory. At the center of this radiant kingdom stood a grand palace built of ivory stone and pale blue glass that shimmered like frozen light at dawn. Within its walls lived Princess Seraphina, a child born under a sky filled with shooting stars, an omen that the royal astrologers said meant she would bring great change to the world. From her earliest days, Seraphina was unlike any royal child the kingdom had ever known. While others expected her to grow surrounded by luxury and distance, she wandered beyond palace gardens, asking questions no one expected from a princess. She would sit beside bakers before sunrise, listening to stories of hard work and dreams. She walked along the riverbanks with fishermen, laughing as they taught her how to skip stones across the water. She visited the sick and elderly, holding their hands and listening with a patience far beyond her years. Her mother, Queen Elira, often said that Seraphina's heart was too big for a palace, and perhaps too big for the world itself. But her father, King Theron, believed that such a heart was exactly what a ruler needed. As Seraphina grew, so did her understanding of life's fragile balance. She saw joy, but she also saw hidden struggles, farmers worried about unpredictable rains, families grieving lost loved ones, travelers seeking shelter after long journeys. She carried each story within her like precious stones, shaping her belief that a kingdom was not defined by its walls or wealth, but by how it cared for its people. Years passed peacefully, and Luminara flourished like a garden in eternal spring. Markets overflowed with vibrant fabrics, sweet fruits, and laughter. Music filled the evenings, and festivals lit the nights with lanterns floating like stars upon the rivers. But fate, as it often does, began to weave a different path. A terrible drought came without warning. The rain stopped, rivers shrank into thin silver threads, and the fertile fields turned dry and cracked beneath the relentless sun. Crops failed season after season, and fear began to replace the joy that once filled the kingdom. King Theron called his council, and many advised strict rationing, closed borders, and the protection of royal reserves. But Princess Seraphina, now grown into a wise and compassionate young woman, stepped forward with quiet determination. "If we close our hands now," she said, "we will lose more than food. We will lose who we are." With her father's blessing, she led efforts to support the people. The palace granaries were opened, and food was distributed fairly across every village. She organized teams to dig deeper wells, encouraged merchants to share resources, and personally traveled across the kingdom to ensure no one felt forgotten. She sold her jewels and royal treasures to fund relief efforts, choosing compassion over comfort without hesitation. Many nobles were shocked, but the people saw her sacrifices and found strength to endure. Yet the drought worsened, and hardship tested every soul in Luminara. Some began to lose hope, whispering that the kingdom's golden age had ended. Seraphina refused to let despair take root. She spent nights studying ancient texts, searching for ways to restore balance to the land, and days working beside her people under the harsh sun. One evening, as she traveled through a distant village, she encountered a mysterious traveler, a storyteller with silver hair and eyes that seemed to hold centuries of wisdom. He spoke of forgotten springs hidden deep within the mountains, waters said to be blessed by the earth itself. Driven by hope, Seraphina organized an expedition to find these springs. The journey was long and filled with challenges, steep cliffs, violent storms, and moments when even the bravest hearts faltered. But her courage never wavered. She reminded her companions that hope was a light worth chasing, no matter how far it seemed. After many days, they discovered the hidden valley where clear water flowed endlessly from the heart of the mountain. With careful planning and tireless effort, they built channels to guide the water back to the kingdom. When the first streams reached Luminara's fields, the people wept with joy. Life slowly returned to the land, and green shoots began to rise once more. The drought, though devastating, had revealed the true strength of the kingdom. unity, resilience, and the unwavering compassion of its princess. Soon after, King Theron passed the crown to Seraphina, believing she was ready to lead. Her coronation was not a display of wealth but a celebration of hope reborn. People from every corner of the kingdom gathered, bringing gifts of gratitude, handmade crafts, songs, and stories of how her kindness had changed their lives. As queen, Seraphina ruled with wisdom shaped by hardship. She reformed laws to ensure fairness, built centers of learning where knowledge was free to all, and created networks of support so no family would face hardship alone again. She encouraged art, science, and exploration, believing that a thriving kingdom nourished both the body and the spirit. Under her reign, Luminara became known across distant lands as the Kingdom of Endless Light, a place where compassion was stronger than power and generosity richer than gold. Travelers came not only to trade but to learn the secrets of a society built on kindness. Years turned into decades, and Queen Seraphina grew older, her hair touched with silver but her spirit as bright as ever. She continued. Grew older, her hair touched with silver but her spirit as bright as ever. She continued walking among her people, listening, learning, and reminding them that every act of kindness, no matter how small, carried the power to change the world. When her time finally came to rest, the entire kingdom gathered beneath a sky filled with glowing lanterns. They did not mourn only with tears but celebrated the extraordinary life of a queen who had given everything for her people. Her legacy lived on not in monuments or treasures, but in the hearts of generations who carried forward her belief that true greatness lies in caring for others. And so, the story of the generous princess became more than a tale, it became a guiding light, passed down through centuries, reminding the world that even in the darkest times, kindness has the power to restore hope, heal broken lands, and unite hearts forever.